Well, hello, BookTube. How do you do? My name is Juan. I am just one reader, and I am doing perfectly, wonderfully well myself. Thank you very much for asking indeed. Today, I am filming the meteor. I can't sustain that kind of voice for an entire video. I just can't. So bear with me. This is going to be a silly video, as you can probably tell by this opening. I am doing the mid-year book freakout tag, which is one of my favorite tags to do at this point, at this time in the year. Everyone usually does it. It's a very kind of BookTube staple kind of video, and I love doing it. I love watching it, so here we go. Question number 1. What is the best book that you have read so far this year? And that has to be A Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. This book was such a surprising delight. It was hilarious. It was wonderfully well written, and it's a treat. Question numero dos is, what is the best sequel? And I don't usually read sequels that much anymore just because I'm not used to reading series as much as I used to. But I am reading a series right now. I am currently on book 3, and book 2 in this series is just like, it was wonderful, and that is it's upside down and it's backwards, so you can't tell what this is, but it's The Mad Ship by Robin Hobb, the second book in the Lifeship Traders trilogy, and it blew me away. Question numero 3 is, what is a new release that you haven't read yet but want to read? And I honestly don't have an answer because I don't really care about new releases, not at this moment in my life. Question 4 is, what is the most exciting new release that is coming up this year that you want to read? And again, I don't care. Question numero 5. What has been your biggest disappointment this year? That very clearly and very strongly has to be The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie, the first book in some kind of trilogy, the First Law trilogy. What a waste of time and paper this was. I could not get into it. I will recognize the fact that maybe I went into this book expecting it to be something different to what it actually ended up being, and I was maybe not as flexible as I could have, should have been, and so it just became an awful experience, and I could not connect to anything, to the writing in this book, the characters, the writing. I did not connect. I am willing, or I would be willing at some point in the future, I guess, I would be willing to give this a second go just to see if it's me or if it's just Joe Abercrombie's horrible writing style that I didn't like. I don't know, but it was just such a letdown. Question 6, what has been your biggest surprise? And that actually is weird because it's a book that I was expecting to like, but it actually was one of the best reading experiences that I have had this year, and that was the nonfiction biography Stephen Sondheim: A Life by Meryl Sechrist. I actually read this book right around the time of Stephen Sondheim's 91st birthday, so I was just really in the mood for celebrating Stephen Sondheim's life and legacy, and this book was maybe not a revelation. It didn't give me a lot of like new gossip or information, but I just really loved the experience of reading this book while experiencing a lot of Stephen Sondheim show tunes and lyrics on the side. Question numero 7 is, what is an author that is like one of your new favorite authors? It can be a debut or it can be new to you. And I guess the only one that I can think of that has gotten into a new level of, not a favorite author, not yet, but she's certainly getting there, is Robin Hobb. And I've been reading her Realm of the Elderlings for a few months now. I started back in 2020 with the Farseer trilogy, and now I'm reading this. I'm almost over. I'm almost finished with the Lifeship Traders trilogy, and even though she has some very, very important flaws in her writing and in her storytelling, I am actually really into her entire thing that she does. So yeah, Robin Hobb. Question number 8. What is your new fictional crush? Question numero 9 is actually pretty hard to answer, but it's a very good question. What is your new favorite character? I'm going with many characters because I love good characters in my books. That's one of my favorite things in books, the character work and the dialogue, the characters, all of that. So I have to go with Jeeves and Wooster, Bertie and Jeeves from P.G. Wodehouse's stories. I just adore that pair. Jeeves especially is just absolutely wonderful. But again, I have to go back to A Confederacy of Dunces. I mean, the character of Ignatius is just one of those like iconic. I cannot believe this book is not even more popular and idolized than it already is. And I know that the people that love it really love it. It's like The Catcher in the Rye with satire, and it's just wonderful. I mean, the people that are like, you know, that kind of Holden Caulfield kind of character, but very whimsical, very very quirky and eccentric. This character Ignatius is just outstanding. Just wonderful character, probably my favorite character of the year. And from the Lifeship Traders trilogy, there are so many characters. So far, my favorite character has to be Malta. Malta Vestrit, I think, is the highlight in terms of character of this particular trilogy. But there are so many wonderful characters here that you love, that you hate loving, and love to hate. It's just wonderful characters. Question 10, a book that made you cry. Question 11, a book that made you happy. The Inimitable Jeeves by P.G. Wodehouse. Bertie and Jeeves do their best to help and occasionally hinder love-struck Bingo Little as he falls head over heels and back again. This is just a very bad synopsis. Well, it's actually pretty accurate, but this book is about so much more than just that. It's a series of adventures. It's a book that will restore your energy. It's a perfect palate cleanser. I think this is probably true for all of P.G. Wodehouse's works that I have read so far in my life. He's just something else. He's a tour de force of happiness and uproarious, laughing out loud kind of rumpy adventures, and you know, the characters are just wonderful. And yeah, just read The Inimitable Jeeves. Question 12 is, what is the most beautiful book that you have bought in 2021 or received this year? And reading this question really made me realize that I haven't really bought books this year. I mean, I have bought some. I'm a bibliophile, and I consider myself to have an addiction. My addiction is very clearly to Amazon, and I do buy books pretty consistently on Amazon. I haven't been to a bookstore in quite some time, so but I have been book shopping online quite a lot, but I haven't really been buying a lot of new books or books with beautiful covers. I actually have been buying a lot of mass market paperbacks, like Terry Pratchett books, the Juliet Marillier books, so there's nothing really that stands out. And finally, question numero 13, number 13. what are some books that you want to read before the year is out? So in the remainder of 2021. And this is always a good, interesting, exciting question to answer, but it's always awful when you actually make it to the end of the year and you go back to this list and you realize that you probably didn't accomplish even 50% of what you wanted to accomplish. But some books that I would love to read before the end of the year, I want to read Mort by Terry Pratchett. I want to read My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. Elena Ferrante is just such a musical name. It's like one of those singing exercises, like Bella Signora. You could do the same with Elena Ferrante. No, I just took it like to another level. Elena Ferrante. Just such a beautiful name. I love it. Elena Ferrante, pasta, pizza, piacere. I just love it. This is so politically incorrect, but you know. I want to read My Brilliant Friend because everyone says that I am going to adore that Neapolitan quartet, whatever. I want to read The Silmarillion by Tolkien, which I have already started. I want to read more Jeeves and Bertie stories by P.G. Wodehouse. I want to read The Morning Gift by Eva Ibbotson. I want to read The Diary of a Provincial Lady by an author that I don't remember. I don't remember the author's name. I want to read I want to read Stephen King, the 11/22/63. I think that's the title. I want to read. I would like to read some other kind of fantasy, something that is not by Robin Hobb. I want to take a break from Robin Hobb, but I know, in all honesty, I will probably start the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb at some point in the year, because I do want to continue with the Realm of the Elderlings, but I want to read some other kind of fantasy, maybe Juliet Marillier, even though I know that people say that's actually very similar to Robin Hobb's style, but I want to read something more like Terry Pratchett, or I already said Terry Pratchett. Anyway, I want to read maybe some other kind of nonfiction about opera or musical theater. I want to read, I don't know. Oh, there is a book that I think is a recent release, and it's supposed to be really, really whimsical, great fantasy, and it's a standalone. I think it's the first book in a series, but it's by Mark Stay, who actually has a channel here on BookTube. By Mark Stay, and I think the book is The Crow Folk, or The Crow People, or something. The Crow Folk, I think. Yes, I think that's probably all I can think of right now that I want to read before 2021 is over. Those are all the questions. This has been an absolute pleasure for me to do, and now I pass the baton to you if you want to do, and you should do, this book tag, because it's great. It will be great for you to answer, even in the comments down below. You can just answer these questions in writing, or you can just make a video. I would love to watch everyone's videos. I am currently making a playlist of just Meteor Book Freakout tag videos that I want to just binge in the weekend. Thanks for watching. I am just one reader. I should probably adopt this voice for my everyday life, shouldn't I? I think I shall.